Hi guys, so this is Anukar and welcome to my podcast. So today we have Abhijit, a friend of mine from Instagram, and then I've been following for quite some time now, and then I see that you're into modeling.
Yeah.
So I believe you are associated with a modeling agency, I believe.
Currently, yes, I'm associated with two of them.
Oh, I see.
They don't know that I'm associated with each of them, but you know,
Oh, I see. That's interesting. So how did you get into modeling? Is it something that you wanted to do from the start, or?
honestly, it was just my mom thought I should do it, and my family always encouraged me to do it. I never was super passionate about it, and I currently am not super passionate about it. But it's fun. It's an interesting. I have a boring job, so other than that,
So you just have to compensate it with something interesting.
something interesting, right? And you meet really cool people.
That's nice. That's nice. So I also see that you're into fitness.
Yeah,
So you go to gym how many times a week?
I mostly go every day.
Oh, that's good. So do you like maintain your proper diet and everything?
Diet is something that I'm not really good at. I was really good into diet a couple years ago
Uh-huh.
when I was living in back home, and I had someone cooking for me and stuff like that. But now that I'm by myself, I usually just eat enough that I don't feel hungry.
Uh-huh.
And I eat the right foods. Like I won't eat junk food, but I'll just eat like easy foods. Like I'll fry myself eggs or make myself like normal chicken or rice or stuff like that. Nothing really special. I think my diet is pretty boring.
Oh.
I don't really have a good relationship with food. I don't.
Yeah, I see that in your stories.
Yeah, I don't. I don't know. Food was like I kind of started eating and realizing that the things that taste good are really good for you.
Absolutely.
So I kind of like being fit. It's like you kind of have that realization with every food you're eating. Like, okay, this is, you're eating a cheesecake. Like I ate a cheesecake today. I'm like, okay, this is useless. I need to eat a sandwich with this, or I'm not gonna gain any weight, or my muscles are gonna get smaller, or something like that. So it's just like you develop this relationship with food, depending on if people want people that are fatter, they develop a different kind of relationship with food.
Exactly.
People that are skinnier develop a different kind of relationship. I've always been in the middle, not too skinny, not too fat, never fat. So it's just like I eat enough that I'm fit, but I don't overeat and I don't undereat.
Oh, that's good.
So,
I've been skinny my whole life, and I can actually relate when you said that it's weird relationship when you're skinny and you try to build your muscle. It's very hard for me also to build muscle. Whenever I get sick, I lose weight. I lose weight very
right
fast.
away.
Yeah. I recently had some health issues like a couple of months ago, like 5-6 months ago, and I lost around 9 kgs just like that.
Yeah. So that same kind of thing happened to me last year. I was also like kind of sick. So like I kind of lost a lot of weight over time. And even right now, like with good diet and everything, it's hard to gain it back. Even the way that you yourself lost.
True, absolutely. Oh goodness. And also, when you're talking about being skinny, which I think you should also address the fact that there are a lot of people who, have a problem with reducing their weight.
Most people.
Most people, yeah. And then they also do, and I believe what people don't realize is what exercise does to your body is very less compared to what food does to your body.
Correct. Yeah.
So the diet plays an extremely important role that people don't follow. And also on that topic, I've been seeing like a lot of Instagram videos on quite the contrary. Like on one side there are like gym freaks with like six-pack bodies and absolutely amazing, stunning bodies. They're just going and saying you should definitely go to gym. You should make sure you have a great abs and muscles.
Yeah.
That's a perfectly healthy way of living. And also there are people who are like completely obese, like extremely overweight, and they're saying that body positivity, you should love the self the way you are. So what's your take on that?
Well, with everything, there's like two sides of the coin, right? Like there are people that, are all about fitness, like their day to day, like the types of proteins they're taking, the different types of supplements they carry everywhere. Like those are people like that, and there's nothing wrong with being people like that. Like, but it's also at the same time, like, I feel like today we accept the madness with fitness, and it's like because of the social media and the photos and the way people want to look, I feel like it's more accessible to be fit and crazy than it is to be body positive and crazy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's this point where I have two I in the same family, I'm the person that gains weight slowly and like loses it faster, right? And then there's my younger sister who's like an exact copy of me. But then there's my elder sister. She's 10 years apart from me, and whatever she does, she never loses weight. She's not fat, but she's not skinny either, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she's in this middle state where she's always trying to diet, always watching what she's eating, and you know, like there's like this constant level of anxiety that she has with the way her body is, and you know, she's face tuning her body when she's posting pictures of her birthday. So there are like people like that are pressured to like be themselves. Like they're pressured like how their body is functioning, or and you don't have to be like crazy hormonal crazy stuff. You can just be like a normal person who just doesn't have good eating habits and never formed them
Yes.
to be at this stage where you're not losing weight, right? And also combine that with not working out, and then you know, stationary jobs. And
Oh,
so there is there a point where people should be okay with being where they are. And even with fitness people, like I look at my body and I don't think that I'm okay. Like I think this needs to change, that needs to change, right?
absolutely.
So there is a point where you need to be having a little bit of body positivity where you're like, okay, fine, like, you know, but you can't like just be like, I'm body positive and I'm just gonna lie down and I'm just gonna chill out.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of health problems that come out of that, which you're gonna be paying for when you get older, and you're gonna see that other people that were not, you know, relaxing are looking younger than you, and you're like, what is going on here? I have friends that were never working out and they look like they're 40 and they're 25. And I'm just like, yo, and they're like, well, I can never be where you are. I'm like, well, because you did never started, right? And it's like, even if now you start, you could, you know, get to a point, but it's like, there's these lifelong habits that people form where it's kind of hard to break. It's mostly the mind, right?
Absolutely.
And it's like some people can break. Like I have some habits that I can't change, right? And it's like this like flip sides to that.
True.
So yeah, like social media is I feel like everybody likes to get in their little groups where it's like fat people get in one group, and there's people that are fat shaming fat people into getting skinny that get into one group, and then there's people that are, you know, trying to sell them things that get into one group, and then people try to, you know, like turn them into body positivity. It's just like, you know, you don't have a control on what group you get into.
True.
Nobody tells you what's right or wrong. You have your phone, and you know, you start watching some kind of content, and your phone tells you like, this is what the world thinks like, and you just had this, you know, tainted perspective on TikTok where I see everybody that's fit, and I go outside in the world and I'm like, why is everybody not working out? You know, like I see all these fit people all the time on my Instagram, and I go outside and normal people are there. I'm just like, what? You know, like you get like, there's this, the way you use your phone really changes the way you see the world, because when you go outside, you see people that are not using your algorithm, and you're just like, well, these people are like, you know, they're not body positive like me. Like they do not like the fact that I'm, you know, obese.
Yeah.
Like I feel like people need to go outside and see the real world sometimes.
Absolutely.
And see that being fit doesn't really affect anybody but you. So like people that think that, oh, I'm fit, people don't care. Outside of your house, nobody cares. Outside of your social media, nobody cares. And if you're fat, like, yeah, like body positivity, it works in your own, you know, place. But if you're like getting negative outreach from other people, and if that affects you, and that really matters, if that affects you and you think that's something you need to change, then, you know, the body positivity is not a good way to.
True.
There's a difference between being critical of yourself and trying to change, but there's a difference between like being a negative, like having a negative relationship with yourself where you are not doing anything to change, but you're just, you know, feeling bad about where you are. So that just doesn't make sense, right?
Absolutely. I mean, before, I think it was black and white where, you know, like, just like you said, there are people who are critical about themselves, and also there are people who are negative about themselves. But now with the social media, thanks to it, I think it's all been a gray tone now. Like we usually, because there are people who want to be critical about themselves, but social media has borrowed a perception that if you're being critical about yourself, that's not right. You're just being negative.
Correct.
And then I believe because of that, a lot of people stopped doing even the little effort that they used to put
Yes,
before,
correct.
they stopped it.
Yeah.
Because now they believe, just like you said, the algorithm, how it works. Even in my For You page, it's all about fitness people. And I see sometimes where, and on the same subject, it's about the fat shaming, right? Before, the fat shaming was very black and white,
Yeah.
but now it's different.
Correct.
Now every person, everyone is, and also the beauty standards are also associated with the how fit you are
Correct.
in today's, because they just say that if you're fat, you're ugly. If you're not,
Correct.
and there are other people who, cosmetic companies and clothing companies, who are trying to sell, like whose target market is the oversized people.
Oversized people, yes.
They're just saying that you're just beautiful the way you are, and that's, I think,
These are the same companies that told them that being fat is also not right.
Exactly.
When that was popular, when
Exactly.
when TVs became popular and movies and like all these things were accessible and social media came along, all these people were selling these green teas and all these fat losing supplements and
True.
these things you tie around your waist so that your waist comes down. Like, these are all the same companies that are now catching on this trend where people want to be, well, they see their products are not selling and they're like, well, try to sell that, and it's like good for people like who have, physical issues, like who can't work out and this and that. But it's also like you just said, like turning physical fitness into how you look, and if you're ugly or pretty, has distorted the way people look at fitness.
Exactly.
It's like girls that are skinny and look good would not go to the gym and have terrible back and, really bad posture. And they're like, well, I'm skinny, I'm fit, I look pretty, I don't need to go to the gym. But it's not really about how pretty you look, right?
Yeah.
It's just about how your body is functioning. And I feel like there's this disconnect where people should be okay with how they look, and how ugly or beautiful they are depends on, how they see themselves. But it's also about keeping your body in check. You're making sure that, your bones aren't picking up extra weight all your life. And that's gonna, wear your body down. And you're not at the same time trying to look really amazing. There's these guys who have like 8-pack abs.
Absolutely.
But they don't eat food, and they take these weird supplements. And I'm not even going to get into the ones that take steroids, but I'm just talking about the really crazy ones that are like counting their macros and they can't eat anywhere because they're like, oh, what is in this? Like, I can't eat this. And, take the cheese slice out of my burger. Like, there's that part of it too, like where they're trying to look a certain way instead of trying to be like, okay, what is really healthy? Because we found out like having a really, really low body fat percentage is not actually great for your body. And that really contradicts how we look at social media, because there's these really lean guys with veins popping all over their body. And you're like, okay, well, that's not fit, right? And you're just like, okay, like that's just a distorted way of looking at things. It looks cool.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right? But it's not healthy, right? So there's like I feel like people need to just relax a little bit about everything. Fitness is just an industry. Instead of being a lifestyle choice, it's become an industry. People sell you from gym clothes to gym bags and gym, like equipment and things you can, put on your body when you're working out, and these straps, and at the year end there's like these supplements and these little, like I buy a lot of vitamins, and even though like I think I might not need them, but I still buy them because I'm like, okay, this will get me the extra edge, right? At the same time, I'm not eating food, like I'm not eating proper diet. So like there's like this disconnect. We're becoming consumers, but we're not really taking care of our bodies. And that happens a lot in today. Like, I'm not sure that happened before I was born, but that's happening right now.
Yeah, I think, before we were born, the fitness industry was completely different. Like if you talk about the actual people going to gym and actual fitness, it's only the people who are into modeling or who are into like weightlifting championships and stuff. But as soon as this social media hit everyone's home, like it's very accessible.
Right.
It's changed the complete entire fitness industry.
It's become more acceptable. It's become a thing to have a gym. Like buildings had gyms.
Absolutely.
That was never. I don't think that was ever. There were a couple gyms, and I'm talking about like way before. Like a city would have 3 gyms.
Absolutely.
And now every neighborhood has a gym, and then buildings have a gym because people don't want to leave their house, but they want to work out. Like there's that market. and it's strange. And I think it's good that we have more people working out.
Yeah.
I don't like that the gym is full all the time, but it's good. It's good to see more fit people out there.
True.
I feel like the early 2000s, where you would have a lot more obese people and really, really fat people, has really gone down. You don't see crazy fat people, like, you know, who can't, you know, their clothes are not fitting and stuff like that. You don't see that anymore. I think it's both society and social media shaming them into a corner where they, you know, forcefully worked out, or like maybe it's just a better knowledge about the products that we were eating before, all this processed sugar that people just stopped eating.
True.
And I've realized that people have stopped eating, you know, junk food and all these other food. We got new organic stores that have opened up all across the world now. In Canada, especially, like organic food, organic products, everything's gone organic. I'm not sure if that's healthier. I'm not sure about that, but people are being considerate about what they're putting in their bodies, and that's interesting to see, because
I think at the end it's all a bit corporate running the whole stuff. Because if you see, if I go to No Frills or anything, if I want to buy chicken, I see that there's a chicken breast regular and there's organic, which is like $5 or $10 more.
Yes.
I was like, so are you trying to sell me that this is not organic?
Yeah.
So should I not be eating it? Then why are you selling it in the first place?
I don't know. I feel so weird about organic foods. I will drink organic milk. Like, I'll spend extra for organic milk, but I will not spend extra for organic meat. I'm just like, it's a dead body. Who cares? Right? I understand that some people, like, I used to buy organic eggs. I used to buy organic chicken. I used to buy organic milk. And now I just buy organic milk. Because, I don't know, I just, like, you go on the internet and you're just like, okay, is there any difference? And, like, to me, what matters is this milk more nutritious?
Exactly.
Does it have more protein? Does it have more fat? And organic milks do come in 3.8%, which is really high, you know, fat. But then there's inorganic options that come in 3.2 something, right? So it's not too much of a difference. But with eggs, I found out, like, with some, you know, YouTube tests that I watch, and there's people that will test this shit for you. And I saw that there's really no difference. And I'm like, that same day I started buying the cheapest eggs I could find, the 18-pack ones.
Yeah.
I was like, you know, I don't care. And I believe, like, there's a lot of organic foods like that don't really make sense.
True.
I used to buy this because I'm a really big gummy guy. I used to buy gummies a lot. I would go to the grocery store and buy like a huge pack of gummies. And those are really bad for you because they're just like sugar, like right up sugar. But I used to eat them and, you know, whatever. For me, sugar doesn't cause fat gain. Sugar causes inflammation. So I'll get like little like scratches on my, like, I'll be having inflammation on my arms, and like I'll get like little clogged pores on my skin, and I'll realize, okay, this is because I ate too much sugar. So sugar affects me that way, right? So I'm trying to cut down on sugar, and I try to, like, you know, there's like these gummies that are called smart gummies, and I found them in the organic store. And they're like 3 grams of sugar. I'm like, okay, that's pretty low. I started eating them, and, you know, I developed a flavor for them, which is really weird because organic gummies usually taste worse. With these ones, I kind of... And then, like, 2 years in, I realized that once they go in your body, your body processes the fiber as glucose, which turns into sugar. And I'm like, okay, so I'm just like doing more work for my body to break this down back into sugar. So it's technically not. It's 14 grams of sugar, but it's just like, there's like flavor sugar, and then there's fiber, which your body's breaking down into sugar. So then I just like realized, like, what the fuck am I doing? And then, you know, I just kind of quit on that. And then I started getting, instead of like getting, regular gummies or vitamin, I started getting vitamin gummies.
Yeah.
And
I have
slowly, because I like eating gummies so much, I got a multivitamin, and then I got the really specific, like, you know, like muscle relaxing and sleep medication and, you know, stress and, like, you know, like these little things just so I could eat more sugar. And just before you know it, my gym bag is full of all these little boxes of gummies. And, like, I have reminders on my phone, and there's 20 of them going out, like, you have to have this gummy, that gummy. And by the end of the day, I'm just eating gummies. I realize I'm just eating a lot of sugar. And I'm just like, okay, maybe I just like eating sugar. I don't really care about the vitamins. So yeah, sugar and everything. Yeah, like
I think
Sup-
that's the trick the corporate plays, like they introduce you to some stuff
Yeah.
and then they say that's not good for you. So they have a loyal customer base who doesn't want to forgo, and there are people who are like little considerate about it, and they introduce a new product
correct.
and they get attention to this product.
And whatever it is, like people like buying stuff.
Yeah.
Like as human beings, like we always think about people selling us stuff and corporations trying to sell us stuff, but we also like buying stuff.
Absolutely.
It's not that we don't go outside and we don't want to buy things. Many people find joy in consumerism. They like to go shopping. I like to go shopping, and I don't. I think we have to understand that these companies are there to also try to give you what you want so they can get your money in return. It's a simple transaction. There are, if you choose to be healthy, there are healthy options to eat. If you choose to eat, fast and like tasty, there are options like that. But at the end of the day, the consumer is not going to be told what is right or wrong for them. They have to figure themselves out. And that's the thing. Everywhere you're spending your money, you just have to figure out, what am I doing with this money? Am I like going to get drinks tonight, or am I going to stay home and have a good meal? Like it's the same money you're using. And there are different companies that will profit either way.
Absolutely.
So you have to figure out, at the end of the day, you have to educate yourself.
True.
And it's hard to educate yourself because there's more people just selling things on the internet all the time. So YouTubers, and you might think that, okay, well, what's on TV is not real.
Yeah.
You go on YouTube and try to find solutions on the internet, and then the internet is sponsored as well. Now your Reddit is sponsored.
True.
You read out Reddit threads and they're sponsored, and you're like, okay, so there's no way to educate yourself. You just gotta try things and see what works for you, and some things don't work for you.
I think people do not have that kind of patience.
They don't.
Before, we used to rely on information that is put on TV.
Correct.
So we see, okay, when we see this ad for a really long time, so this might be a good product.
Correct.
And now people think they got smarter and then they're making wiser choices. But in that decision making has shifted from TV to internet. Now we go open Instagram, you see a same product for a lot of time. Correct. You see the product in the market, you recognize it and you buy it. It's the same marketing tactic again.
It's the same marketing tactic.
And also, if you see in the products there, whenever I go to No Frills and all this stuff to buy chicken especially. So you get regular chicken, which is like $19, and then you get organic ones, like you said, and there is grass-fed.
Correct.
I was like, okay, fine. If this is grass-fed, then are the other two not grass-fed? Then what are you feeding them? It's so scary, because until you're not into fitness, you're not into eating healthy food, you don't recognize all this stuff. You just go pick your chicken and
Correct.
you just come home.
Yeah.
But once you start taking care of your body, understanding what to eat and what not to eat, that's when it gets really scary because there are so many options.
And if you realize at the end of the day, after living expenses, and this is for people that are renting, food is the top expense. When it comes to eating healthy and it comes to taking care of yourself, you realize food is really expensive. And food is the most expensive thing. And many people think, and you can also make food the least expensive thing in living.
True.
And that's just how people think about their life. Like, there are people that think that, buying supplements or vitamins, they're like, oh, this is $50 of pills. It's expensive, right? And at the same time, a fitness person might not think that's expensive. They might think this is completely fine. So it's not that some people are right or some people are wrong. It's just that some people have different priorities. And some people, unfortunately, don't think their health is their priority. And I have seen people that have money, that are rich, and they don't think health is their priority. And I'm just like, yo, you could buy the whole organic store and you're eating whatever the fuck you want, right? Yeah. And there are people like that, and you realize, and it's sometimes I would see I'll go to their organic store, and these stores are really expensive, right? You'll see people buying shampoos that are $30. You're like, what the fuck? But the people that come there would not be coming in fancy cars, and they won't. Some of them would be taking the TTC there, and you're just like, well, these are not people that have money to throw away. They are making conscious choices.
Absolutely.
And to them, those choices matter. I don't care about what shampoo I buy. My roommate cares about what shampoo she buys. So she buys organic shampoo, which is like 20, 30 times the price that I buy. But I don't notice a change in my hair. She does. And she thinks it's important. But at the same time, I do buy organic food and she doesn't buy organic food. So it's like,
it's just a pattern on what you're spending most and what not spending most.
what you think is important and what you believe would help you in your journey in becoming a better human being in your way. Some people really care about, some people have health problems. They want to make sure they never have health problems and they're always eating healthy. Some people are healthy. They don't care about what's happening. Some people are in that age in their life, younger than 20, where their bodies are functioning amazing and they don't think anything is required. And they're like, what are these people talking about? Like, who cares? But yeah, as you get older, and I see myself getting older at 25, like I see like lack of nutrition showing signs. I see lack of sleep showing signs. So yeah, there are things like that you notice as you grow older. And I think when you grow older, that's when you decide to make those decisions in your life where you're spending more on nutrition, health, than your body.
True. And also coming back to like the original topic about the working out and stuff. I've recently come across this video where there is this person. She's like, she's obviously very extremely obese, and then she just kept saying that if you think that fat people are not beautiful, you're fat phobic, and if you think that you should go and work out to just so that you look better, and then you're fat phobic. They're just coming up with all these new definitions of those standard terms. I think
what's wrong with being fat phobic? I don't. Fat phobia is a fear of something.
Exactly.
And when it's to some other person, I understand that there's an offense there. But if, like you said, if she says that if you work out to lose weight and look pretty, you're fat phobic.
Exactly.
Well, you are afraid of being fat. Yes, there's nothing wrong with that. Some people are afraid of like getting taller. Some women are afraid of getting taller. They're like, I don't want to be taller than guys in my age. And that's a phobia of heights. Some, like, you would see some girls have like some girls legit stand in the mirror and look at what's their thigh gap 24/7. They're trying to decrease how much space is on their thighs, and some women are trying to increase their thigh gap, and they're like, I want like this much space between my legs when I'm standing. And those two people are friends.
True.
And they are phobic of each other's bodies. Like, this girl probably looks at this girl, she's like, I don't want a body like that. I don't know how you have such, and this girl probably thinks like, this girl is too skinny. Like, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with her. And I understand, as long as we keep those feelings to ourselves, that is how life should be. What some people, I feel like when people go on the internet and they make these crazy videos, it's like when they face some kind of crazy, like, some person coming over and attacking them just because they're fat. And then they go on the internet and they attack other people in return, which is a way of, defense is the same way, like, everybody reacts online, and it's understandable. But we also have to think that when people go online and they say things, it's not really, I don't think people think that what they say online really matters. I've said some things on Twitter, and I don't even have access to that Twitter anymore. But I just think I've said things just because they're funny. I once said that old ladies crossing the roads is so annoying because they would cross too slow. And I don't think I meant it in that way. But I feel like, like where people put TikToks and everything, but things shouldn't be taken that seriously. I feel like some people are just trying to get a rise out of other people.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if you post something controversial, you'll get a lot more clicks on TikTok. But if you post something that's not controversial, you won't, nobody cares, right? So I feel like there's that argument where people are trying to like also make money on being fat.
Absolutely.
There's all these TikTokers that make these videos, and you see their views and the products they're selling, and you're just like, well, at the end of the day, they're making money on being fat.
Absolutely.
Same way some people make money on being skinny and being muscular, and it's just.
I think recently we've got like a lot more plus size models than there were like 5-10 years before.
Correct.
And there's a lot more of, if you see, back in 2005 or anything before that, most of the people who are into this modeling or, the Miss India or Miss World or Miss Universe or whatever it is, they're all very skinny and in a particular shape. But things are changing. Correct. I don't know if it's for good. I'm not big until and unless you have a physical problem, you cannot like be like healthy. Except that I don't think anyone should have any reason to work out to get in shape or work out to become a little fat and become being healthy. And also on that same subject, we see that there is no term called fat in these days. I think there is even there was the rallies that happened at one point of time, I think a couple of years ago, saying that you should remove the term fat from the dictionaries because it's offensive to a lot of people.
Correct.
And then now people start using healthy, like oh this person is healthier instead of thinking, it doesn't make sense.
Well, and to that point, and I feel when I'm like I have a best friend of mine and she's a girl, right? And we joke about everything. Like I could literally say that she's looking ugly and she'll be fine with that. But as soon as you call her fat,
she gets offensive.
She gets offended, and I understand that because she is someone that gains weight pretty fast. And like even though girls go around saying that I'm curvy and I like my curves and I'm so thick, when you call them fat, they do take offense to that. And I feel that there is because the way people get fat is because they are like they're eating more than the calories they're like exterminating, which means that they're eating in excess, which in earlier time would be like, oh, this person's healthier, like they come from a rich family, they're like healthier. Now it's the opposite, where it's taken as you work a lot and you have a job that keeps you stationary and you're eating unhealthy food, which keeps you fat. Exactly. Whereas if you were eating healthier and putting more money in your diet, you wouldn't be fat. So there is the stereotype when it comes to being fat is not only to the way you look, it's also representative of the way you live your life.
Exactly.
So I feel like people take a strong, aggression to that word when it's labeled as fat, where they don't really notice that they're gaining weight until someone calls them fat. Now they haven't gained weight, now they're fat. It's like, oh, you think I'm lazy now? I feel like it's a stereotype that comes with that word fat. Same like there's a stereotype that comes with someone who's fit. You're like, okay, well, he probably has a couple gym shoes, right? That kind of stereotype, right? Like same way the stereotype that follows with that labeling. I feel like people don't like being labeled anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like before we used to call people things. We'll call them fat, blind, gay, straight, whatever, girl, boy. People don't like being called short. Is they're short? Like people don't want to associate with anything. And I don't know, as human beings, people that are like human beings and based on judgment, we judge people for survival.
True.
And we judge everything for survival. So now that we're in this society that doesn't want to be judged, it's just like you're constantly walking on eggshells with everybody. You're like, if you call somebody an influencer that posts a lot on Instagram, they get offended because they don't like the word influencer. And like, you call someone that's fit, like a fitness influencer, they think that that's not a right term. There's like people that work in finance that don't want to be labeled as someone that works in finance. People that work in real estate that don't want to be labeled as a real estate agent. They want to be an entrepreneur. Like I feel like people don't like being labeled. They don't like being put in a category. I feel like it belittles them. And that's the same thing with being fat. It's like they don't want to be labeled as someone just defined by their body. They want to be labeled by more attributes, right? And I feel like that is a way where I don't think you can remove the word from the dictionary, but I feel like how we take offense to some words, I feel like it could be put somewhere where people are recognizing that this is offensive to people. But at the end of the day, like there are also going to be insensitive people that are just going to say whatever the fuck they want. And there are going to be sensitive people that are going to take offense to that. And we can never change that, no matter how many terms we take out of the dictionary. People need to understand that if there's something that you're offended by and it's not something you can change, then you need to change how you feel about that.
True.
Before we point our fingers, because how many people will you fight for calling you fat?
Yeah.
If you are okay with being fat and you think that's completely healthy, then other people's opinion shouldn't matter to you. Like there's a lot of things that I get called, but I don't associate with the names that I get called, and I don't take offense to that. So it doesn't really matter what people say. But if there's something that I'm like touchy about and people pull on that, yes, I will get offended and I would want those words out of the dictionary. But I feel like it's a lot more to do with esteem than it is to changing how the world is around you. You can't change the world around you.
Yeah.
You can change the way you feel about the world around you, and that takes a lot of practice, right? But everybody can get there over time. And with the new mental health movement and body positivity, I feel like a lot of people that can't reach their fitness goals are getting a little bit okay with where they are. And it's okay, you know?
But at the same time, people who can't get to a place are also not doing it because they are getting into a thing like, oh, fine, they're saying that being fat is okay. So why should I even work out, or why should I even stay healthy?
Correct. And well, there are going to be people who are going to use all ways to be lazy, right? Like, there's some people that would never do it.
Absolutely.
There's some people that say like, you know, I have a full-time job. I don't have time to go to the gym. Well, I wake up before my full-time job and I make time, because the time that you spend sleeping, I make that time into working out. So I just added more hours to my day, and I still sleep a little earlier, but I don't sleep like before 12. But I don't know. Like I think working out is a priority to me, and at the same time, there are things that I should be prioritizing that I don't prioritize. So, you know, there's two sides to each coin. Like everybody's brains works differently.
Absolutely. Well, this has been really interesting talking on this topics.
Yeah.
And I think we should definitely do this like some other time with some other different topic. Let's see what people in comments say about this, what we talk. I'm really excited to see how many of the people call us fat phobic. Yeah, please don't. So thank you so much for coming. It was pleasure. It was nice meeting you too. Yeah.
Perfect. Just record.
Yeah.